Hey everyone, this is Rock from StageandSky.com, and I wanted to hit on this notion of what do you bring to the table? I'll have ladies know, this might cheer a lot of people up. I've never asked a woman this question. Men and women were different. What men are looking for in women is different from what women are looking for in men. We have to accept that. We are different. I like to say, we're equal in value, but we're different by nature. Secondly, when it comes to men like me, the kind of men that women say they all want someone who's confident, who has their own things, they have their life together. Men like me who are single and they've lived by themselves, I own my own home. We like basically, if you can pay your own bills and you can do all this stuff on your own, you're asking yourself, okay, when it comes to my mate, what am I looking for by which she can add value to my life, right? So when it comes to this whole notion of what do I bring to the table, a lot of ladies, when they are asked that question, like on the Fresh and Fit podcast and other places, they usually say money and materialistic things and all of that stuff. All of stuff that, again, men like me, we already have. You know, I can cook and clean for myself. I can provide for myself. It's great that you have it. It would make life a little bit easier. We can save up. We can go and do things nice. However, when it comes to what I'm looking for in a mate, that's not even in my top 10. Rock, so what do you mean you don't ask what they bring to the table? What do you, I mean, you're trying to say you're Sherlock Holmes or something like that. It's by mere observation, right? There's a saying. Here's something you need to pull out of your head, because our culture, we've gone on to think that, oh, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, right? When we were kids, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. It's been drilled in us. I don't think that's true. I think the saying goes, you shouldn't judge a book solely by its cover, meaning it's not the only thing you should judge. However, yeah, you judge a book by its cover. You judge a book by their appearance. Even if they're putting on something, oh, this isn't me, I'm just doing this to be free, there are reasons why you did that, and all of it speaks to me. I know that sounds crazy. I know that sounds like, oh, Rock, you really sound like you're Sherlock Holmes. You're making yourself bigger than. But it is. It's mere observation. There's a lot you can infer just on the cover. For instance, I used to weigh 378 pounds. You could tell by just looking at me that he likes to eat. Yeah, you could say, oh, he has a thyroid problem or medical issues, but what are the odds, right? What's the stats on that? You know, as a guy who used to weigh 378 pounds, I can tell you I was a glutton. I ate a lot. I didn't work out, and I ate crap. Like I can tell you glutton stories. All my glutton stories, man, it's bad. Okay, so my point is, you can judge a book by its cover. You shouldn't judge a book solely by its cover. Like, you ask more questions, you probe a little bit more to see if your assumptions, because that's what it is. You know, it's not conclusions, it's just assumptions. And then as you pull more information, those assumptions start to form conclusions. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. We are all human beings, and you're given intelligence and wisdom for a reason. To throw that out the window, which a lot of people like to do, or like to be shamed into doing, you know, that's crazy. Nope, you're free. You can think for yourself. I encourage you to think for yourself. So when it comes to what do I look for in a woman, you know, like if I'm out on a date, you know, I'm not gonna ask her what do you bring to the table. I can just tell by talking to you. And the first thing, ladies and gentlemen, and this is obvious, you're gonna slap yourself like, yeah, that makes sense. Does this person make me happy? That's probably the most important thing before, you know, I really get deeper into who she is and what her values are, right? When I talk to her, do I feel like, man, this woman's cool to talk to. I can talk to her about anything, you know? I don't feel like she has her guard up. She's open, she's interested in me, she's fascinated by what I have to say. I like that. Like, this is a person who I can get along with. That's important. When it comes to, oh, what do you bring to the table? I don't give a crap about any of that. If I can't have a conversation with you where we're getting along, we enjoy each other's company, none of that matters, right? So that's mainly the main thing I wanted to hammer home. You know, oh, right, what is she bringing to the table? It doesn't matter. Like a lot of us men, like I said, that we're self-sufficient, but it just doesn't matter. What else do I look for in a woman? Christian qualities. All right. I know that this world is very corrupt, and there's a lot of Christians out there who live by this world standards, meaning they engage in the hookup culture and sex outside of marriage. I don't do any of that. I believe in waiting until marriage to have sex because that's what the Bible says. Now, that doesn't mean that, oh, well, I'm probably going to cut everyone off as soon as I find out that you have sex. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, this is how I live. If you want to be with me, this is how we're going to live. Like, you're going to have to be celibate until we get married. Can you do that? And yeah, you could tell from appearance that she might struggle with it if she's dressed a certain way, if she talks a certain way, if that's on her mind. I used to have a girlfriend who was not celibate, and she tried. God bless her. She tried to be celibate. She tried, but almost every conversation, she couldn't wait. I mean, she was talking about sex in every conversation. I get it, it's tough, which is why I encourage women to not engage in hookup culture. Like, if you're already in it, try your best to get out of it. And if you're young and you haven't gotten in it, resist it. It's dumb. It makes no sense at all. It's destructive and it does more harm than good. What else? In my last video, I talked about how very much women my age, right? Like women who are younger than me, like 10 or 5 years younger than me, they don't do this. Women who are older than me, they don't do this. But women my age, I'm 36, so around the 33 to 36, 37 age range, older than 30, 30 to 37, they like to try to compete with me. And I think that's part of today's current culture where they're trying to preach they're all equals. You know, anything you can do, I can do. And I don't think that's wise. Or I'm a writer, right? I write books, I write essays. And I had a friend say, "Oh, Rock, you'll like this girl." Why? Because she's a writer too. Okay. You know, like that's not something I'm not looking to get married to another me. You know, I'm looking for someone who has qualities that I lack, you know, and very much our shared common goal is our, you know, putting God first, our Christianity. That's our shared common goal. As far as, you know, her interests, her intellect, she doesn't have to be on the same level as me. You know, I like that she, you know, can do her own thing. She wants to do her own thing. She has her own interests, you know, and we just come home, we support each other, we talk about it, and, you know, we kiss each other goodnight. You know, like that's all I'm looking for. I'm not looking for someone who can step into my realm and try to do what I do, nor would I want to do what she does unless she needs my help, and I don't mind doing that. The reason why is because, all right, full disclosure, honesty, I am competitive, right? When you're trying to be an author, and I'm not sure how this is with other fields of expertise and other professions, like when I get published, I want to be not just some mediocre writer. I want to be the best, right? I want to be a bestseller, which means I'm competing with a lot of people. This is not entirely fun. This isn't Michael Jordan, where if you play against another person, it elevates your game. That's not it, because art is very subjective. You know, there's a lot of people who are getting published these days, and oh, Rock, well, they're getting published. Does that mean they're a better writer than you? No. That just means that, one, they're writing to today's current trends, and the person who read it, the editor, the agent, the publisher, they basically like their style over yours. It doesn't mean that you're a bad writer. They just like that style. And today's current culture, I hate to say it, is very gynocentric. You know, they're meaning they favor women over men. You know, like if it's a female character, my point is, I don't want to come home to compete. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go. Yeah, but that's basically the point I'm getting at. The biggest thing, ladies and gentlemen, is just your demeanor. Like if you're a pleasant person to be around, that speaks for miles with me. I'm not sure how most men are. I just finished writing an essay about the enmity between black women and black men, and one of the things were a lot of us men, we were raised with that white knight attitude, where we were raised to be gentlemen and, you know, to treat women with respect and kindness and be nice and kind to them. And then today's current culture, you know, with hip hop rising and basically overpowering the culture that was instilled in us through Family Matters and Fresh Prince and the Cosby Show. You know, it's like all those white knight qualities in the gentleman, they say they want, but then they go after the hood dudes. Not all women, but enough to make, you know, a statement, essentially. So that's why I really wanted to get across. It's not just for the guys saying, oh, well, what do you bring to the table? I think men shouldn't be asking that question. Who cares? Who cares what the woman brings to the table? If you got what you need, you know, to sustain yourself in life, the main thing I would be looking for when I'm going on a date is, do I enjoy this person? Do we get along? Can she uplift me? You know, and when I bring her in my world and I start to talk about my stuff, because that's another thing. That's another thing I talk about in one of my essays. A lot of people say, oh, Rock, you don't tell, you know, you're not open and honest with, you don't be open and honest with the woman, you know, because they're going to use that against you. Yeah, if you let them. If I'm open and honest with the person and she uses that against me, I'm like, hey, I told you that in confidence. That's a very sore subject to me, and you bring it up to hurt me. And if they attack, if they don't do anything other than you're right, I'm sorry, that's not going to work. And those are things that you want to hammer out before you get married, right? Because that's not wife, you know. But a lot of guys, they argue, and because they're having sex outside of wedlock, that pretty much doles down the red flags that are right there, and then they keep, you know. That's why you hear, oh, I've been in a relationship for 3 years. 3 years? You're not married? And then like here, that's when people say, oh, don't get married because, you know, the laws and whatever. But I think the reason why things are so bad is because people tolerate and accept more than they should. you need to have the power to walk away, men and women, and have standards. A lot of people have been talking about recently, oh, you got to have high standards and, don't lower your standards for anyone. Have real standards, right? Don't say, oh, I have high standards, but then give yourself to Pookie and Ray Ray and have children outside wedlock, If you have high standards, actually have them. But I think what happens is because you're afraid of the loneliness, you're afraid of missing out, your beauty's passing you by, you're not finding the guy you say you want, you end up settling, you end up giving it to whoever you went and had drinks with. And now it's sad. Anyways, I know it sounds really bad, but I really hope this encourages people. I say that after the therapist basically, oh, y'all need to go to y'all need to go to therapy, you dusty mother. That I'm not trying to bash people, but just give you some perspective to think about, right? All right, I gotta go.